Hey, what's up, YouTube? My name is Ben, and I am Bald Man Gaming, and welcome back to the Anchor, where we're going to take Logan Sargent all the way to the top and win Constructors with Logan Sargent. If you missed the last episode, it was very, very disappointing. We had a very bad race where Logan Sargent got crashed twice. He got 2 time penalties. He hurt the new side pods. It was an absolute disaster. And then we had a bad tire management with Albon, which kicked him out of getting points. And so we still don't have any points on the season. That was my fault last time. But we're bringing in many new upgrades, and so we are very excited for Baku. I have already set the new designs to start manufacturing, and so we will have them before Baku and a couple of backups as well, and so that's a good thing to have in the bank. But let's see. After the first 3 races, we've got a little bit of driver development update. And so let's see who has gotten a little bit better. Albon has gone up twice in cornering and 1 in smoothness. And then Logan Sargent has gone up twice as well, 1 in adaptability and then 1 in reactions. It's not what we want. We want some more cornering, but that's okay. At least he's going up a little bit for us. And then Luke, he went up too, but he's going to get replaced next year. I think this is what we're going to do for our training. As you can see, we are going to be able to improve their overall skills in what they're doing. So this reduces the chance of them making pit stop errors. The more skills they have, the less likely they are to make a mistake, even when tired. And then we are also improving their pit stop time. And so what I've noticed when I've been playing this game is that if you can do this with your rest, you're actually going to get the most out of your crew. So even on the weeks that you don't have anything, giving them solid chunks of time off, just like a normal person would want, actually really benefits them. And so all of this only made this go up by 3%. We were going to be at 34% no matter what we did. This only went up by about 3%. And so we are heavily improving our pit stop times. We're going to continue to do something like this where we're going to tinker with it, try to continue to improve the pit stop times without sacrificing a lot of chance for them to make mistakes. We're going to go ahead and continue to upgrade our helipad. There's no reason not to. You make this money back very, very quickly. In the beginning, we weren't even getting 1%. Now, right before Baku, we're going to actually be getting 3%. And so this is going to make a difference over the long haul, getting more and more money. We'll probably be able to upgrade the helipad one more time before Baku so that we can start getting max rewards from all of our sponsors' payouts. All right, so we have our first regulation vote of the year. We are going to be looking at which one we want to be voting for. We've got high speed downforce changes or low speed downforce changes. Basically, it's which type of cornering do we want to nerf a little bit. And so my theory is that if you're good at something, you don't actually want to nerf it because everybody gets closer to you if they do their designs right. So we're going to pick the one that we're not as good at. We're really good at high speed. So I want to pick low speed downforce changes to bring the higher teams up, like Red Bull and Ferrari, back towards us, as then we can go ahead and research and hopefully end up with a little bit more in the research than they do at the end of the season, especially because we were last year. We have a lot of ATR period to spend. We have a lot of wind tunnel, and so we want to be able to capitalize on that. So I'm going to go with low speed downforce, and I think that's going to help us catch the top just a little bit quicker. So our front wing has an extended deadline. I hate it when this happens, man. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and pay overtime. I want those things a little bit quicker. It's only $350,000. All right, so the vote is in for the regulation change, and it looks like the regulation change is high speed downforce. So that is actually our strength, and so we're going to have to pour in just a little bit more just to maintain the high speed that we have. But maybe it's going to drag down the other guys just a little bit. Maybe they're a lot farther out in front of us than we think, and so maybe this is okay. All right, so let's go ahead and start looking at some new race engineers. Minimum a new race engineer for Logan Sargent and Josh Peckett. looks like he's open to negotiation. So let's go ahead and get a detailed scout on Josh. Let's go ahead and get a detailed scouting on Hugh Bird. All right, so we have our new parts inside of Alex Albon's car, and so I just want to show you the comparison, what we're bringing. We're gonna go just a tad slower, but this is Logan Sargent's car with the side pods that he wrecked last week, but they're fixed. And then also we have our rear wing. So as you can see, we retain the DRS, but this is about where Logan was last time. And so everybody's bringing upgrades, which is a little bit disappointing. Hopefully our chassis helps us out significantly, but it looks like everybody's bringing upgrades to Baku. We're not going to make as big of a jump as I was hoping. So we might have to wait for a better downforce and a better DRS place to get points, but we will see. Sprint race, first sprint race this season, everything could change. All right, so we have our targets. We are targeted for reaching one driver into Q3, so let's go ahead and select both of these. I think we can at least get into 15th, so one driver into Q2. I think that's very easy to get. I think at least Albon will probably get there. This is asking for fastest lap, so once again, we're going to go ahead and click finishing position so that we can guarantee 15th or better in the Grand Prix. And then as long as we hit 15th or better in the hot streak, we go ahead and get all of this cash. So at the end of the weekend, if we hit all of our sponsorship goals, we get 1.2 million. So that's going to be an amazing amount of money for us. And so that's what we're going to do for our performance targets. All right. So once again, we have double stacked our drivers, Sargent leading Albon. We are now onto our flying lap. It looks like we're going to have clean air the entire time, which is absolutely fantastic. And we are going to go hit the last bit of DRS, and Albon goes what, 144. Sargent is 144.4. So this is a good start. Let's see where everybody else comes out, and we'll send our guys out again. All right, I just wanted to pause it here real quick because everybody looks like they have gone and at least placed one lap. And so after one lap, after one flyer from everybody, Albon's in 8th, Sargent is in 11th. All right, so looks really good, but those Red Bulls are so much faster than us. That is insane. All right, but it does look like we are catching the Alpines. It looks like we're starting to catch Haas as well. That is pretty darn good as we're going. So let's go ahead and send them out on another lap. All right, so the hope is that we now have them in clean air as Piastri goes into the pits, hitting the first little bit of DRS and then going around. All right, so it does look like clean air is on the docket for everybody here for Albon and Sargent. Let's see if we go faster. Nope, we do not go faster. Let's see. It is Sargent had a bad middle sector, bad sector 2, and it didn't allow him to go faster. So we have about 2 minutes left. Let's see where we end up. All right, so after Q1, Albon is in 9th and Logan Sargent ended up in 12th. All right, so we are moving both drivers into Q number 2. It looks like Albon could make it into Q3, which is absolutely amazing. Hit that sponsorship target. All right, so same strategy as last time, stacking Sargent and Albon. This time we're going to hit a little bit of traffic, but luckily it is on the DRS, and so we are going to be able to get around them pretty easily. And Albon is setting very good sectors and gets a better time than last time. So he was at 144, almost flat. This time he's at 143.7. And I think Sargent goes faster. He was at 144.4, and this time he's at 144.3. So fantastic. Great job from our gentleman there, and let's see where it shakes out by the time everybody runs their first flyers. No improvement upon their times. Logan's out in Q2 but qualifies 12th, which is one of his best qualifications, and Alex Albon is in 9th, and so let's see if he can get 9th or above. It looks like he's consistently above the Alpine, so let's at least be above Gasly. All right, Albon has clean air the entirety of this lap, and let's see what he does. 143.9. Not quite as fat, about 2/10 off of what he did last time, but that's okay. Let's see where everybody else comes out to. He's only 0.3 behind the Aston Martin, but 1.2 seconds behind the Red Bull. Wow. Starting our final flyer before we hit the sprint race. We hit a yellow first sector. Sector number 2 is yellow. It doesn't look like Albon's going to improve, and a yellow third sector as well. So Gasly improved on his last lap, but didn't improve enough to jump Albon, and so we are only one position away from gaining points. And then if we can maintain 9th in the Grand Prix, we're going to be in the points. We're going to have points. And so this is a very, very good start to Baku. As you can see, we're going to go attacking to the end. We might have to manage Logan Sargeant's tires a little bit more, but it looks like Albon will be able to make it to the end of this race. Hopefully this will pick up a position or two, as attacking is very, very effective in this game. So let's set that for Albon. Let's go ahead and set that for Logan Sargeant, even though with the knowledge we might have to back off. We can at least see the target line that we're trying to hit with Sargeant. Let's see what happens on our first sprint weekend of the year. All right, here come the 5 red lights. And they are out. Here we go. We're going to go attacking, push, deploy, push, attack, and we can leave them on attack the entirety of the time. We're going to start off by looking at Alexander Albon as he goes into the second turn of the race, gets the outside of the Alpine, accelerates the Alpine, and he's going to have 9th place secure, and he's going to start working on Russell as well. And so Logan Sargeant is back here. He is now fighting with Ocon. He is trying to track down both Alpines here. Lets Ocon go, keeps De Vries behind him, and he is now going to work on both Alpines to see if he can go ahead of them. Albon's looking to the inside of Russell. It's just a little bit too far out, but Alexander Albon is keeping up with the Mercedes quite well, and the Alpines are not. So after just about the last little bit of the first lap, he has opened up a 1.3 lead over Gasly, which means he is not getting DRS, and DRS starts right after the first lap. And so Gasly's not getting DRS. Ocon and Sargeant are going to get a toe off of Gasly, and we're going to go ahead and get a toe off of Russell. We'll see if Stroll has DRS. Otherwise, everybody's going to go ahead and get a toe. Nope. Stroll has DRS, and so we are going to see what happens as people are starting to get dropped out of DRS ranges of everybody. Albon gets pulled closer to Russell and Leclerc. So there we go, gets pulled closer to Russell and Leclerc as Ocon now passes Gasly, and Sargeant is watching the Alpines battle it out, which helps him keep up with the Alpines and puts De Vries into a position where he is now getting ditched outside of his DRS by just about 2 seconds. It was 1.7, now it's 2, and so we are looking in good shape for this sprint race. All right, so out of the third lap, and we have been dropped by Russell. It looks like we've got good short-term speed, but not long-run speed, and so Ocon is going to get DRS off of Albon. Let's see if he can make the pass on Albon. Looks like he is going to be able to make the pass on Albon as he goes out around the outside of Albon and makes the pass into turn number 1 and accelerates and is going to put Albon behind him. Albon's going to go ahead and get DRS for the second stint of he's going to get DRS here on Ocon. Let's see if he can pass Ocon and stay in front of him as we go into the next couple of turns without DRS. He is able to get by him only momentarily as Ocon now has the inside and accelerates out. Albon is still side by side with Ocon, and he's going to have the inside for this next turn. Turns in, and then Ocon's going to have the inside and turns out. Let's see if we get the acceleration out of the corner. We do get the acceleration out of the corner as Ocon is not able to complete the pass, but he's also going to have the inside for this move here. Once again, getting a little bit better acceleration acceleration as we have the outside moving up through the city around towards the castle, and then we have the inside for the rest of the run. And so let's see if we can capitalize on that. It looks like Alcon is going in, getting a little bit better of acceleration out of that corner, but we are keeping up with him as we have the inside track. Alcon can't quite get by, and then we have the inside track once again to that final turn before we turn towards home here and getting into the next DRS. It looks like Alcon is going to get ahead of us, which means we're going to get DRS, hopefully take 9th place back again, and then we can see what we can do. Gasly is right behind both of us as we are racing. Gasly has now caught us as we are slowing each other down, but here we go, DRS for Albon as we start moving past Gasly. And Norris is now getting DRS on Sargent as Albon had DRS on Gasly. Does look like he complete that pass on Gasly, but Gasly is coming up nice and close to him. Alcon, is going to go ahead and have a little bit of DRS on Albon. This time he's going to take the inside away from Albon, and it looks like he is going to complete the entirety of the pass before we get to the next sector. Nope, he is not. Albon is hanging on, fighting back, and here comes Albon again, getting the inside of this turn, but Alcon is going to go ahead and get a little bit better acceleration out of that corner, and then going into the next turn, Albon has the inside, and it looks like Alcon is put behind Albon here. They are still slightly wheel to wheel. Alcon fights back. Albon gets ahead, and Albon completes the pass on Alcon. It took about a lap and a half to decide who is in 9th, but now we are almost 5 seconds behind Leclerc and Russell. Alcon is going to go ahead and get DRS on Albon here, but he is not going to be able to get close enough to pass him on this turn, but he's going to get the DRS off of Albon here. Let's see if Alcon can go ahead and get ahead of Albon. Albon picks a really good racing line. Excellent, taking up as much track as possible, and Alcon is not going to make the passes. He almost hits Albon. He almost wrecks Albon. But as we are checking in on Albon and Alcon, it looks like Logan Sargent has caught Gasly. And so Sargent, Norris are all stacked up behind Gasly, stacked up behind Alcon, who is all stacked up behind Albon. And so we are having a fantastic sprint race. Great racing going on. Everything isn't for points as Sargent is starting to get passed by Norris. Norris didn't even have any DRS. He must be pushing a little bit hard here, and so Norris is going to try to go around the outside of Logan Sargent, and it looks like Lando Norris is going to get by Logan Sargent. Lando Norris is starting to pick his way through the field as Norris is now in 11th. He got by Gasly, and he's now trying to track down Alcon, but once again, Alcon has DRS on Albon. Albon picks his line, and Alcon does not pick a good enough line to get by Alexander Albon. Albon gets decent acceleration out of that corner. Alcon does not really, and then we are going to be able to go into this little bit of DRS. Let's see if Alcon can get by Alexander Albon. He picks another bad line, and Albon is going to retain the position. Albon gets out in front. He's going to have to pick his racing line, picks a pretty good one, and then Alcon is going to try to pass him on the outside. He's not going to quite get past Albon as Albon is going to fight tooth and nail, but this could be the turn that does Albon in, and it is. Albon switches up from the inside back to the outside. He's going to try to go around Alcon here. It looks like he's going to have great positioning for the next turn. Alcon is trying to keep up with Albon, but Albon's going to complete the pass right there on Alcon, so he gets him back just a lap later. Ocon's going to try to go around the outside. He's just going to try to stick his nose in there, but Albon keeps ahead of him, shuts the door on Ocon, and now Albon should have the space to be able to drive into, start creating a little cushion. So on the next DRS, hopefully we can stay above of Ocon. I'm going to go ahead and put Sargent onto aggressive, save a little bit of tire as he's having trouble getting past Gasly and Norris, but he's in front of Tsunoda. We're going to try to get him to the finish at this point in 13th. He's only losing one spot if he does that, which is pretty darn good for Logan. With just about 3 laps to go, Sargent is now in a battle with Nico. Nico Hülkenberg has gone to the outside, so Logan Sargent is going to get DRS on Nico Hülkenberg. But wow, that Ferrari engine in that Haas is really a big advantage when it comes to acceleration. I feel like the attack with Albon and Sargent was really, really good. And now that we needed to go to aggressive with Logan, we're now starting to lose a lot of time. This sprint race is a really good example of how much faster the other 4 teams are above the field. Albon in a 17-lap race on lap 16 is 16 seconds behind 8th place. And he's keeping up with the Alpines and Norris and people like that. And so once again, great. It wasn't even lap 16. We were still on lap 15. So almost 17 seconds with lap 16. That's insane on how much faster the other cars are, but we will see what it looks like at the end of this race as Ocon is going to try to go up the inside of Albon, gets a little bit better of acceleration out of that turn, and then Albon is going to come back. As we were doing that, as we were looking at the Albon-Ocon battle, Sargent has lost a position to Yuki Tsunoda, and it looks like Ocon might have the inside track here to get that pass. And Ocon is going to shut the door on Albon. No, Albon's going to fight back here. Let's see if Albon can keep the inside as they accelerate out of that turn. Albon's going to have the inside for the entirety of the loop, but Ocon just accelerates right out of that corner. Wow, that was an incredible amount of acceleration out of the corner that Albon just couldn't keep up with. He just didn't have anywhere close to the car to keep up with it. And Sargent is starting to drop like a rock. We're going to put him back on attack for the final lap. Albon is not able to keep up with Ocon, and so it looks like we're going to be starting 10th. We lost 1 position, but that is okay. Our goal for the Grand Prix is to finish in the points with Albon. Finish in the points with Albon. Maybe a little bit of luck will go our way, and we'll finish above 10th or maybe even 9th. All right, so we're picking our strategy for Baku. We're going to do a 2-stop. Here's the reason why. We're going to have the exact same strategy for both of them, but this is the most aggressive 1-stop that we can do right here. And it's mediums to softs. You can be aggressive for a lot of it, and then you will chill out on the softs a little bit. This is the optimal one for a 1-stop, but a 2-stop makes you 15 seconds faster. 15 seconds. And so the hope is that the 2-stop will work. Now we are being very, very aggressive the entire time. We are attacking the entire time, so this could go very wrong. But it seemed to go pretty well in the sprint race, so we're going to go ahead and go attacking for our Grand Prix as well. Here we go. We're going to first be looking at Alexander Albon, as both Alpines have gotten a great start to the race. It looks like they are going to be on softs. So the first little bit, a lot of people are amused. Whoa, what a lunge by Alexander Albon, starting in 11th and jumping all the way up to 9th place. Wow, Ocon is right next to him still on his mediums, but he's going to get Albon's going to get a better acceleration. Very, very aggressive in the beginning of this race. Wow. Ocon is behind Albon officially here. And Ocon lunges. Oh my goodness. Ocon tries to go for 8th over Stroll. Whoa. People are just trying to get as much track position as possible in the beginning of this race, and people are taking some massive risks. All right, is Albon gonna go for that same lunge that he had last time? There he goes. He is. He's gonna try to get right past Ocon. Diving into that corner. Ocon looks like he's gonna have the inside for that turn. Wow, that was fantastic. Once again, being very, very aggressive. Let's see if Ocon is going to try the same thing on this turn here. He's a little bit too far back from Albon to attempt that, but it looks like Stroll might be getting dumped out of the Ferrari's DRS, and so that's going to give us the opportunity to get after Stroll on the first little bit of DRS of the day. All right, so Albon has lost connection with Stroll, and once again, it is a battle with an Alpine. And so Albon is going to be battling Gasly here, and Gasly is on reds. Gasly is on softs, and so he does have the faster tire currently, but hopefully the attack, being on attack, is going to make a difference here. So there is a yellow flag. As we were talking about attacking, there has been a big crash, Magnussen has crashed into a turn here, turn number 3. Looks like he gets tapped by the AlphaTauri, and Magnussen ends up in the wall and starts getting it cycled backwards behind Zhou, Bottas, and Piastri. All right, here comes Gasly going to try to get around Alexander Albon. Alexander Albon is going to shut the door. He's going to try to go around the outside of Albon, try to get the acceleration out of turn number 3 into turn number 4, but Albon is able to maintain that position, which means Albon is most likely going to be able to maintain his positioning throughout the rest of this lap. Logan Sargent, meanwhile, is battling with Ocon, and Sargent and Ocon have an epic battle going on, and so Logan Sargent is going to have the outside here of Ocon. Ocon is going to get the inside. Logan Sargent gets the better acceleration out of that turn, and he's going to be able to keep up with Ocon here. Ocon gets a little bit better of a position for that turn, but it looks like Logan Sargent's going to have the better position for the entirety of this circle, and we have fantastic high-speed cornering, so hopefully that is able to help us as we have the inside to this turn, get the acceleration out, and then it looks like Ocon might be edging out Sargent, which isn't the end of the world because we kind of want Ocon to have a little bit better of a position than we do. Looks like Logan is probably going to get the DRS here if he can stay beside Ocon. That would be fantastic. He had a lift for just a second, and Ocon gets right by him. So Logan Sargent felt like he had the lift. He lifted for just a second, wasn't quite brave enough to keep that acceleration down, but he is going to get the DRS here on Ocon, and Gasly's going to have it on Albon going into turn number 2, going for turn number 3 on this DRS straight. But once again, Albon takes a fantastic defensive line, and Gasly can do nothing about it. And there we go. Albon is going to retain 9th place. We're just going to keep track of this. Yep, he's getting a new front wing, but Gasly's trying to get around Alexander Albon, but it looks like Alexander Albon is trying to shut the door. Ocon is trying to get past Sargent at the same time, and so it looks like Albon is good, but Sargent is still battling it out with Ocon, excuse me. And so it looks like Ocon's going to get the better acceleration out of that turn, and Logan is going to let him have that position, and he's going to try to get him on the next DRS. And he's going to have the inside road. That is a great turn by Sargent. And we will see who ended up with the DRS. Logan Sargent ended up with DRS. He's going to pull away from Ocon. Fantastic move by Logan Sargent. And then also Hulkenberg takes Ocon as well. And so the Haas is making up spots. And now he's coming up to Logan Sargent. And hopefully, finally, after some epic battles with the Alpine's tires are starting to go a little bit more. And he is not going to catch DRS off of Albon this time. Logan Sargent is going to have an issue with Hulkenberg, though. But Sargent is going to have some issues with Nico Hulkenberg. Nico Hulkenberg looks like he is going to have a fantastic run off of this corner, on this straight, I should say, as well. And he is, if he positions his car correctly, he's going to pass Logan. There he goes. He caught DRS, has the inside, and I think that Logan is just going to let him go here. So there we go. Hassett gets by Sargent, but Sargent's going to have some DRS on Nico Hulkenberg, and he is going to go to the inside of Nico, and Logan is going to try to take that spot back from Hulkenberg. Nico Hulkenberg gets a little bit better of acceleration out of that corner. Let's see if he comes down on that turn, or if Logan can get back to the inside. Logan gets back to the inside, and Nico takes the outside, and Nico is going to have a little bit better of acceleration out of that turn, and he is going to have Logan Sargent. We are getting closer and closer to our pit window, and Ocon has passed Sargent, and Sargent has lost DRS on him. Logan Sargent is starting to drop. Albon is also starting to drop as well. There is a yellow flag, and Logan Sargent has hit something. Logan Sargent, front wing crash. Logan Sargent crashed. Yuki Tsunoda is coming up on Logan Sargent, and Logan Sargent kind of turns into Yuki a little bit. We're going to say, you know what? We're going to say Tsunoda's out. Whoa, Tsunoda's out. We're going to go ahead and open up, since there's a VSC, we're going to go ahead and replace, we're going to go ahead and pit here. I know it's slightly early, but we're going to go ahead and pit for both of these guys. Because of the VSC, it's actually going to save us a little bit of time. And so I'm not sure if anybody else is going to be pitting underneath the VSC. All right, so Albon is coming into the pits first. And Albon is going to get his mediums. Oh, what the heck was that? Did they just take off Albon's front wing and not put it back? Whoop, sorry, wrong button. Did they just take off Albon's front wing and not replace it? Okay, no, it's on there. What a weird glitch. Virtual safety car ending. We're going to push it on the fuel. We're going to go back to neutral on our ERS. And then we're going to go back to our attacking ways. And the DRS is back enabled. And so hopefully Albon can pull away from De Vries here so that he doesn't get any sort of DRS on him. But what a weird pit glitch that they started changing Albon's front wing and didn't complete it before. I don't even know what time he got because I was so confused. I have no clue if Albon got a good time. I guess I'll see in editing if Albon got a good time or not, but wow, that was a weird little glitch that happened. But let's see if Sargent can start pulling in the field a little bit here. And he's gonna have to get ahead of some of these guys because he did not serve his 5-second penalty. But De Vries does have some DRS on Albon, as he is on some really old softs. So as we can see, we now have the best tires. And so after everybody is done on the attack, because after safety car, virtual safety car, start of races, they're on attack for about 2 laps or so. We're going to see where everything shakes out. We should be able to pull away from De Vries and start catching Norris and Ocon again. And then we'll see if we can catch up to the other guys. So Hulkenberg and Gasly by the end, but before they pit as well. They just have a few laps to go. It says Albon locked up. I don't think Albon locked up. I think, I mean, we heard some screeching. Oof. But Norris got clipped, and it probably is front wing damage. We've got minor front wing damage as well. I don't think we have another wing for him to have. Oh, we've got one left. Okay. We do have one wing left for the next time, but Albon takes the penalty. So what was looking likely for points, Albon's now taking a penalty. And now we have to have a penalty for Logan Sargeant and for Alexander Albon as well. And Sargeant has now caught Zhou, and so he's going to get DRS on Zhou as Zhou's soft tires are starting to go away pretty significantly. And so Sargeant is going to get by him and is now going to try to track down Piastri. We're going to have to kind of analyze that on our last stop. Is do we replace the front wing and take about extra 3 seconds or so, or do we leave it because we think that those 3 seconds are really going to hurt us? You know, we'll see what we need to do. There is a VSC. What has happened? Contact in turn number 1. A competitor. Oh, Alonso's out. Alonso's out. He's all alone. Oh, just loses it. The two-time champion just loses it. And a lot of these guys are going to rotate into the pits that we were battling with, because it's right on that line that they needed to pit for their one stop. All right, so virtual safety car is ending. We're going to throw him back on neutral. We're going to go back for the attack. Sargeant's going to go back attacking. We're going to go pushing as well. So all of these guys, Gasly, Ocon, Hulkenberg, had the VSC to pit under. Norris did not, so Norris lost a lot of time on them, but we're keeping up with Norris at this point. He's dragging us along. A lot of them went on to softs. So they're going to one stop. So that's what that means. They're going to go from medium to soft on the one stop, but our strategy was about 8 seconds faster than that. That's why we looked at both, as our strategy was about 8 seconds faster than that. The question that we need to start asking ourselves, since a lot of people came back out on softs, and it looks like they're going to one stop, is do we go ahead and put Albon in? We're going to have to take the penalty, but do we compound that with changing out the front wing? And I'm thinking no. I'm thinking that we keep the broken front wing on, save the 3 seconds in the pits, because I don't know if we'll be able to make that back up while we're on softs and everybody else is on softs. I don't know. We'll decide when that comes. And Logan Sargeant, we used the battery to keep up with Lando Norris, who's on the reds, and so we are going to have DRS this time. We're going to fall back into his slipstream. Sargeant doesn't think he can get the pass here, so going to go back into his slipstream. Almost ran into the back of him. He is on low confidence. We're going to put him back to medium, see if he can just chill out behind Lando, as Lando is catching back up with everybody else, and so getting pulled along by Lando Norris might not be the worst plan in the world. All right, so Pierre Gasly now has caught Albon. We knew this was going to happen, but the other drivers have not caught Albon that he was competing for points with. And so Gasly has caught him. We knew that was going to happen. We're actually going to click the fuel off here and try to back Gasly up a little bit. And we're going to use that fuel once we get onto the soft tires along with this battery as well to try to get by him, because Gasly probably has some fuel left as well. And oh! He's going to get by him. That's okay. We can let Gasly go by us, and then during the next DRS, we'll be able to catch back up. We're actually going to go. Let's go ahead and push back. I want to make sure that we keep DRS on Gasly here, because I don't want to start falling out closer to Ocon quite yet. But that probably is going to happen, is we're going to fall out to Ocon. As I say that, Pierre Gasly just gets absolutely launched and he is gone. All right, so Ocon has officially caught Albon, and he's going to be on the soft tires to the end, and we're going to put on softs as well and try to track these guys down. We're going to be significantly faster than them. So that was what we were trying to do, was we were trying to be the fastest cars on track at the very last bit of this race. And so the challenge that Albon is now going to have is, can he get by these guys again at the end, right? Gasly's already 5 seconds above him, and we have that 5-second penalty. We are not going to take that front wing because I think that's just going to give us a little bit too much of a disadvantage trying to get back into the race. But we're going to go ahead, save a little bit of fuel. We're going to back him up just slightly and see what happens. There's a yellow flag. Race control. This is perfect. This is perfect. You're going now. Pitting on this lap. Yes. Make sure you're pitting on this lap. Yes. Oh, this is perfect. I don't know who crashed or what happened, but this is perfect. Stroll hit something. The Aston Martins are having real big trouble. Oh! Ooh, is that... Did he break suspension? He broke his suspension! Stroll's out! This is going to really help us out because it's going to save us a few seconds on pit lane as everybody has to go slower. And so this is actually going to play into our hand just a little bit. This is great. This is working out perfectly for us. Now we just can't get into another crash. Both guys have gotten into a crash. We can't get into another crash here. So we got to wait the 5 seconds out, and then we are going to have a good pit stop time, right, boys? A good pit stop time. Oh, okay. That would have been an awesome pit stop time at 2.5 without the penalty. That is great. Great work, everybody. Now it's time for Logan Sargent. He's got to serve his penalty. So another 5 seconds here. Serve his penalty. And boys get to work here. Get those bad boys on another 2.5. That is absolutely wonderful. Those pit stop penalties have hurt us a little bit, but here's how everything is shaping up. Our goal was points. We've had both Aston Martins crash out, so that's moved us up to 11th, and we are only 6 seconds behind Lando Norris, who is on 74%. 15 laps to go. We can go on attack for the rest of the time. They're going to be aggressive for the rest of the time, but we can go on attack for the rest of the time. We're going to have ERS, so we can a minimum get 10th. We're looking at a minimum of 10th here. As long as Albon doesn't crash, knock on wood. Okay? As long as that doesn't happen, as long as we don't crash, it looks like points could be on for us at Baku, even though we've gotten into some crashes. We've taken the penalties for them. We have front wing damage. This could be the race that we get our first points of the season. Race number 4. Virtual safety car is ending. Let's get to work. Go on attack and push hard. Go on attack and push hard. Now, if we can get by Lando pretty quickly with Albon, then we're going to also go for fastest lap that Leclerc currently has, because we have a ton of ERS and we have a ton of fuel to spend. And so here we go. 15 laps left. Let's see if we can take away 10th place and get our first points of the season. Is that he's only 1.35 seconds behind, and so he is going to be put on high overtake aggression, because once we hit that DRS, we're going to be able to pass him. We're also going to put the battery on because I want to be able to accelerate out of these first two turns to be able to put a decent gap between us and Lando so that he can't pass us back. Boom. ERS. Wonderful. Puts him hopefully far enough behind that he can't come back and pass us back. Nope, he's not going to be able to pass us back, and so now is the time to start accelerating away from him. Here comes Logan. He's going to get right by De Vries. He gets by DeVries, and now he's off to the races trying to put DeVries behind him. All right, here we go. Maybe we can make the move here. We're gonna save the last little bit of fuel for the final lap, I think. DRS on Ocon. Ocon was dropped by Hulkenberg. And so we are going to hopefully get past Ocon here. Ocon gets dropped there. Let's see if we can have better acceleration out of this turn. Come on. Oh, no. Ocon recovers, is gonna make us sit behind him. All right, here comes Albon. We've got DRS on Ocon. One lap to go, and whoo, that was a close one. All right, we need to deploy out of this, so we need to go for it. Norris is also battling Sargent here. We're gonna deploy out of these last two. Albon has got DRS, but so does Ocon. I don't think Albon is gonna be able to get by. We're not gonna make it, guys. He's gonna end up in 10th, but that is a point on the season. That is a point on the season. We get our first point this season at Baku, and our drivers both have a great drive. Even though we ran into a couple people, it's only the front wing. Those are easy and cheap to repair. Albon crosses in 10th. Let's watch Logan Sargent cross in his best finishing position. And so Logan Sargent, after two rough races, this one was a little bit rough too. He finishes 11th in front of Lando Norris. So here we go. Max Verstappen wins. Charles Leclerc moved up by 6. Wow. Leclerc. But Logan Sargent moves up by 3 to take 11th. Alexander Albon started 10th, finished 10th. Wonderful. I think the two-stop really helped us. It's unfortunate that Ocon and Hulkenberg were in a DRS train when we caught him, and we didn't really have much left for him. But we get our first point of the season. So there is Alexander Albon. More points than Lando, more points than Magnussen, more points than DeVries, Bottas, Tsunoda, Piastri, and Zhou as well. And obviously more points than Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent has gone up in his overall rating. He is no longer a 73. He is a 74. Hopefully it goes into his braking. Thank you guys so much for joining me. My name is Ben, and I am Baldman Gaming. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below, as I will be looking at the comments. I'd love to interact with you guys. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Peace out.